Alright, so in this episode of Testa's Useful Entertaining Speed Shop, whatever collaboration this is, we're going to talk about how parts cars for, say, this Chevelle or the 69 Firebird behind me don't exist anymore. They just dried up like that, vanished overnight. There's no such thing as a parts car anymore.
No, not at all.
No.
Not that we see in our area. I'm not saying that there's not from where you're from, but where we're at here in South Central PA, there's not a lot of anything here. And everything is sold as a complete car.
Maybe out in Arizona you might, oh yeah, you can pick parts off of that. But
no,
out here, like you said in PA, you want to find, you go on Craigslist or Marketplace, and you'll find the most rotted corpse of a 70 Chevelle, 71 Chevelle, A-body really.
Yeah.
Rotted out, completely destroyed, a complete parts car, really. $6,500. This is going to be the next museum piece.
Yeah, that guy. That's a funny one.
Build me one for cheaper, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
No.
By the way, it doesn't even have a title.
Yeah, that's the favorite one of mine. No title. I know. I go down through that stuff and I look and I'll click on the car, and I always look at the bottom because you always go through the whole rigmarole of everything. And then they get right to the bottom, no title.
It's always at the last thing.
Lost title, don't have it, no title, and it's like, well,
but it has a VIN number.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But then you got to go through the bullshit of that. So.
And then it depends on the kind of car too. It could be a 70 LS6 Chevelle, or it could be a base Malibu with a 307 or a 6-cylinder.
Oh yeah.
But it's a Chevelle.
Yeah.
It's the Chevelle, man. $6,500.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, all I see here is the windows. The quarter glass looks usable.
And that's the thing. Why don't they just park the car out? Even that guy said in that ad yesterday for that 70 SS that Riley found.
Yeah.
He even said that I could park this car out for the money I'm asking for. Well, if that's the case, then brother, then park the car out. I don't see $6,500 worth of parts sitting there.
We got to explain what we're talking about. We found an advertisement yesterday for a 70 Chevelle.
Oh yeah, on Facebook Marketplace.
And the guy wanted $6,500 for it. And it had like SS stuff on it. SS door panels, which were completely roached, but he took pictures of them anyway because it says, look, it says SS on the door panel. And it had a Cal induction flapper hood on it. And the one guy in the comments nailed it. He says, well, that looks like it's about a $1,200 hood and a pile of rust.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he had a console and some miscellaneous bits laying on the ground, which is par for the course when they take their pictures. And then the guys, in the ad, I read down through the ad real quick, and he says, for this, for the parts that are on it, I could get that for just in the parts. And I'm like, well, I don't even see that in the parts, because the only thing worth anything was the hood, maybe the console, the 12-bolt, maybe the disc brakes.
We'll have to work up to the end-all be-all, that Charger we saw at Carlisle that the tree fell on. We'll get to this part at some point in time in the video, but at Carlisle this year, we saw it was a 69 Charger.
Yeah, RT.
Would have a Dana rear in it.
Yeah, it was a 440 4-speed car.
Was.
Yeah, it was.
Back in Vietnam.
Past tense. Tree fell on it, crushed the cow. Car was rotted to bits. And the only thing that was worth anything in this whole car was that Dana 60. Nothing was. He had a title, and a trim tag, and that was it.
Title, trim tag, and rear end.
Yeah.
Car was crushed by a tree. The dashboard was crushed by the tree.
Even the gauge cluster was junk in it. Nothing was usable on this car except the rear.
And he was asking what, $7,500?
Yeah. It didn't even have the disc brakes on it anymore. Remember, it was just sitting on the ground.
No, yeah, it was just sat on a trailer, crooked. And you could tell by the bias ply tires that were on it that were flat with mold on them. The car
just sat
probably
for years.
out in the woods since, I don't know, 1862.
Probably rotted out or just went bad back in the day, and they parked it because it was unsafe. And
now, Mopar is the worst candidate out of all of these.
Oh, that's terrible.
What are the Chargers and Cudas you saw at Carlisle? The one with all that gap in the roof and all that?
Oh, yeah, that guy. Those guys wanted. He had that AAR and that TA Challenger, and he was looking $100,000 for them. Me and Dave were like, you gotta be kidding me, those cars are bad. I mean, I'm not gonna say that this thing's the greatest, but this thing looks better than those cars did. And I did this in my garage, so,
What did they want?
100.
$100,000.
Yeah, 100,000. And they were junk. And then we looked at that 70, with that 360 in it. And that guy wanted $87,000 for that car. And if you go into my video, you'll see it. It was from last year's, not this year's, but the year before's Mopar.
I'll put a link down in the description for the video he did a walkthrough.
Yeah.
He filmed all this stuff.
Yeah. Because I criticized that guy in the video too. But that car needs a complete paint job, remember? Remember, it was like bubbling and
Well,
it was
it needs more
so
than a paint
freaking
job.
thick.
It needs body work
It
and then a
needs
paint
body
job.
work and a-
86 grand.
$87,000. That car is still for sale on Marketplace, and the guy wants $65,000.
Over a year later.
Yeah, 2 years later.
Well, how about the fucking tree charger? That car's up like 10 grand now on Marketplace.
Yeah.
He wanted 75 at Carlisle, and everybody was, including us, we were laughing and talking to him like, are you serious? And now he wants more now that he's not on the fairground.
Well, he said to me, he goes, make me an offer, and I had to bite my tongue and walk away. I told him I'd give him 500. I was going to tell him I'll give you 500 bucks for the Dana. You cut it out now, and you can have the rest of the junk, because I don't want it. Because it's useless. There's nothing to it. Why? But that's the shame of it, you know. A lot of cars are out there, and guys just aren't parting. And I understand it's probably they don't have the means or the place to keep everything, or you know, something to that effect, you know, that they're parting it. But most of these cars, it's not worth putting back together, and it's
Not worth putting back
and
together.
I think it's a shame that guys can't find decent projects to put back together. That's, you know, you're not going to break the bank on or see the end of the tunnel at.
Well, it's a two-part problem now, because now these cars have been priced out of anybody's reach. You know, the reach of the average person can't afford this stuff now. Now you can't afford to go buy the clapped-out Chevelle that's been in the field that can be saved.
Yeah.
Not completely destroyed, but, you know, like my Cutlass was. You could save that. It had good floors in it.
Yeah, but you paid $1,800 for that car.
$1,200.
Or you paid $1,200 for it. Yeah.
Now that car would be like $5,500.
Yeah, it's like $5,000. And you're already in over your head when you pull it out of the weeds. So
Not only can a younger person or an average person that has a regular job and has other like payments, a house payment, all that, now they can't afford this stuff. And even if you did, where are you gonna get the parts? Because now, since they're unaffordable, they're now no longer parts cars. So even if you do get a cheap one, you can't get parts.
you can't find it.
Because any parts car you could use is now a restoration candidate.
Yeah, it's always, everything can be fixed, and to me, there's a fine line of what can be saved and what can't be saved. And I just think it just sucks for the whole hobby, you know. 30 years I've been going to Carlisle. I've been going to Carlisle since I bought this car. Well, even before I bought this car. I think I was 12 years old when I started going to Carlisle. And I can remember walking around Carlisle, and guys would have 446 pack setups all lined up on the ground with the freaking turkey baster air cleaners and, you know, Coyote Duster right on them. And those kinds of parts would be all over the place. Now that stuff is dried up, something terrible. And then probably within the past at least 15 to 20 years, it's really taken a big decline. And now it's even worse. You just don't see anything up there anymore. And guys they're not parting them.
You're getting a trickle-down effect because, yeah, you're not going to find the super rare stuff anymore, but now the super common stuff, a 350 Skylark.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, even those things are getting absurd.
Yeah,
you know,
the scraps are going up to prices that can't be afforded.
You know, guy had a GS hood on Marketplace. 70 through 72 Grand Sport hood. I was going to send it to Riley, and then I saw the price of it.
$1,300.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I nailed it.
Yeah.
No shit. Dude, fucking nailed it.
$1,300.
I just threw a fucking dart at the board and I nailed it.
Yeah,
Good.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, it's a hood. And I understand that they only made a limited amount of these cars, and I get that. You know, and that's where some of this is driven from, because, you know...
Can I buy a repop?
Yeah, I don't know if they make repops of them. I think they make fiberglass ones.
Mm.
I think they make fiberglass versions of them.
Probably for more.
Well, I mean, even just a freaking flat hood for one of these things, you know. Now they're getting $100 or $200 for a flat hood. Hell, you can give these things away. Nobody wanted a flat hood, you know. They all wanted a cow induction hood. And rarely do you ever see, even on Marketplace, very rarely do you see even an SS hood or a cow induction hood for sale.
L88.
Yeah, or LED. But I don't know. It's just the market's just weird anymore. I just feel bad for guys, you know, just getting into it. I mean, I kind of lucked out with the Firebird. I mean, I paid $6,000 for that car 4 years ago, and it ran and drove, which was the exception to the rule, and maybe I got a pretty good deal on it. But I mean, even Riley with his Buick, his Skylark, I mean, he paid $65 for that. It ran and drove, you know.
Freshly
And
painted.
it was painted and it looks decent, but
Guy put lower quarters on it, trunk floor, all that stuff.
yeah. So I mean, there's stuff out there. It's just you got to really,
Dig and dig and dig, and eventually you'll find something come up that's priced appropriately.
yeah, because most of the stuff isn't. I just looked at a Nova today. It's down in New York. 70 Nova. It don't look bad. It's silver, but I mean, it's beat. You know, I mean, it's a 50-year-old car. Straight six, 350 turbo, 15 grand.
No.
Yes.
What? 15 grand.
And I'm just like sitting there like, you know, maybe 7,500, 5,500, but 15 grand? And I'm like, come on.
10 years ago, 11 years ago, I bought that Trans Am for $5,500.
Yeah. And look at the
That white
prices on
Trans
those
Am you see in my
stupid
video, the one that's at Riley's house, that 81 Pace car with the Recaro seats, the fucking Recaro seats are worth that much now, according to people.
things. Yeah, and look what the prices of those cars are now.
That car was purchased for $5,500 just over 10 years ago. I think a perfect example, when I bought that car, was worth like 24 grand.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at the prices on when I bought it. I was
Yeah.
comparing prices to pay something good. The guy went 65, I gave him 55, he took it.
That's crazy.
Now I'm looking at cars in shit condition, second gen F bodies. It doesn't matter if it's an early or a late one. It could be an 81 base Sport Coupe Camaro, $7,500. Dude, this thing's clapped.
Yeah, 5,500. Yeah.
It's all torn apart, the door panel's hanging off,
Yeah.
parts are all over the floor,
very-
shit's jammed in the trunk.
Very few of them are below $5,000. At least, like I said, this is just in our area of South Central Pennsylvania. And maybe it's like this because we live near Carlisle and Hershey.
I think it's a Rust Belt type deal.
And it could be that too.
Ohio's probably the same way, New York.
You know, I don't know. It's just, I just don't think. I mean, I've seen a decline in parts for years, and if, like I said, you jump on Marketplace, you start scrolling through Camaros are the worst. I mean,
You're paying for the name Camaro.
well, yeah, 69s are the absolute positive worst. I mean, you got, like I said about that one, that guy wanted $6,500 for it. There's nothing left there to work with. But part the car out. There's parts on it that can be used.
There's cars out there that need the parts off this thing. This thing ain't worth anything,
Yeah.
but they could definitely use the windows out of this thing.
Yeah, or even a roof panel if the roof panel's solid, or you know, maybe the tail, you know, the tail lights, or you know, there's usable parts on the car, but to put the car back together is a complete daydream for.
What we're saying is some of the shit we see them selling, all they're selling is a VIN number because everything else needs replaced.
Yeah, yeah, a VIN number and a title, but that's a whole nother ballgame there.
And another problem is that since these cars have been priced out of the average person's reach, I got lucky. I've been into this since I was born. I was born into this. You know what I mean? Not everybody is. But the kids I grew up at my age in high school, most people didn't have that much interest in this stuff because they couldn't afford it back then.
Yeah.
And now it's doubled in price since then.
Yeah.
And then the same crazy old people that drove the prices up on these cars to unattainable prices go, ha, look at these faggot kids driving Hondas and Volkswagens. Why don't they get a real car? But because of you dick.
Because they outpriced everything.
And when they don't get into this stuff, they don't get the knowledge. And they don't know what special parts go to what. All they're going to realize is that it's, I don't know, it's just grandpa's old junk in the basement.
Yeah.
And grandpa just died, so get the dumpster. So,
Yeah, that.
if you've partaken in driving the prices up to these cars and hoarding things as holy grail prices when it's really just the base model, you're the part of the problem. All this shit's going to go in a dumpster when you die.
That's probably the sad truth of it. That's probably the sad truth of it. It's just, you know, I don't know. I always look for parts for that, and you can't find parts for that because guys don't part them out. You know, and I thought, well, maybe I could buy, you know, maybe I could find a parts car for this. Yeah, right. Because what's a parts car? In my opinion, what's a parts car is what I paid for this car. And that's what they're asking for.
I know
4
what
years
parts-
later.
I know what parts cars are because I grew up with a backyard full of them.
Yeah.
We had one Skylark, so we had 3 parts car Skylarks out back. We had one Cutlass, so we had 4 Cutlasses on the property that were in much worse condition, and they did get parted out.
Yeah.
And so on.
But it just has to, there's just a breaking point where you just can't save a car, or it's beyond the financial matter. Now, if you're like now a lot of these guys do this pro touring crap. So buying these cars that are half gutted and don't have anything in them is probably beneficial to them because they're going to replace everything that's in the car. I mean, I don't know of anybody that we know that's going to do that, but I mean, even to do a pro touring car is outrageous with all the parts you're going to put into it, LS in it.
Got the full UMI suspension.
Yeah.
That's right, we clowning if you watching.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just, I know I own a house. I have a house payment. I pay taxes, car payments, and just to afford things in order to be able to enjoy the hobby is hard enough. Now, I'm just lucky I have the skill set to do a lot of this, and I have friends that have the skill set to do a lot of this. If I didn't, it would be 10 times harder. So if anybody's starting out in this, even just buying the Firebird, somebody starting out with it, it would be a lot harder for them because they just don't know. They don't have the experience of working on it.
No.
And, and that's why a lot of and I think that's why you see a lot of half-done projects on Marketplace or Craigslist. You've got cars that are half torn down, half primered. Well, it's got new quarters, this and that, and I got everything in boxes.
Lost interest, I've got better things to do in life.
Exactly.
Your turn.
Exactly. And that's a shame, too, because, the problem is they couldn't get a good enough car to begin with, or they didn't know enough to get a good enough car, or they just saw it was an impulse buy, or they thought, I watched Overhauling 8 million times, so anybody can do this.
Overhauling, Pimp My Ride. Everybody says too many people watch Fast and Loud. I say too many people watch Pimp My Ride.
But I mean, I just think, just from like the average guy that I am, I mean, I wouldn't buy, I've been thinking about buying another car. But the problem is that the prices are just outrageous. A roller, just, guys are getting 10 grand for rollers, with no engine or transmission. I mean, come on.
What do we see that red Chevelle? We just seen a red Chevelle, what was it, 71, 72? It was a 1 or 2. It was a big googly eye car like yours.
Googly eye.
Well, what else would you call it?
That's that one.
Cyclops.
That's that one that was rotted all the way up to the body line.
Dude, it was rotted all the way up to the body line like it was sitting in a river.
What do you want for that thing? 5 grand or some shit?
More than that.
It was horrible.
And it looked like it was rolled over because the roof was all dented in.
The roof was caved in.
The roof was caved in pretty good.
That was on Marketplace too. It had an engine in it.
The gas tank was ready to fall out of it because there's no more trunk floor, and the rails that's supposed to hold the gas tank up one side
were rotted away.
Yeah.
And needed a whole trunk floor. Yeah, that thing was a mess.
Who knows what that car started life as? It was probably just a base 6-cylinder for a 7 car.
It was just a regular Malibu.
Somebody probably hot rodded it in the 80s. That's what it looked like.
But to say you want $6,500 for that. Now, let's say you got average guy that wants to get into a project. I mean, obviously he's probably not going to spend that kind of money on it. But let's say you got a guy that does that. Let's say he can do the body work and stuff himself. So you figure quote for 2 full quarters, outer wheel wells, whatever floor pan crap it needs, trunk. And this is just off the cuff, trunk drop offs. I mean, this is all stuff that's probably just junk on that car. Plus whatever else is wrong with it once you start digging into it. And if the engine's junk, well then you got to do engine, transmission, So there, you just paid $6,500 for this car. Maybe you got it down to $555. You just put all that time and energy. Now this is just in sheet metal work. You're doing all, so you might have, another 6 grand just in sheet metal and mechanical stuff. And that's not without painting the car and everything else, if they have the skill set to paint it. So, after you're all said and done, you could be into that car for 20 grand.
But do you think the price is going to come down on the cars when the people that drove the prices up don't exist anymore?
I don't know. That's a hard question to say, because I know a lot of people from my generation are into these, and they might be some part of some of the problem too with the disposable income driving the prices up. It's hard. I don't know. That's been brought up a lot, I know, on a lot of the. I go onto the Genco.net, the supercar registry, and I usually poke around in there, and That's a question that's been brought up a couple times.
How many $1 million Chevy 12-bolt rear ends in somebody's grandmother's basement is going to get chucked in the dumpster because nobody knows what it is?
Well, it's happening now.
Well, it's just metal. I don't know. That's grandpa's shit. I don't know what it is. Get rid of it. We're selling the house. I see it when we go to pick and pull junkyards. They've always got a classic car section. And there's really nice cars sometimes that get in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah, they didn't
It's
know
just
what
an
it was.
old car. Nobody wants an
Yeah.
old car. Just call it junkyard. Nobody's going to want to
Yeah.
buy that. Now, granted, that's Malay's shit. That's like a 75 Pontiac Granville or whatever.
Yeah.
Or a
But even the
Buick.
prices on them are going up.
Yeah, they are.
Freaking full-size cars. Who would have ever thought? Riley was looking at that LeSabre last night on Marketplace when we were doing the live. That's '69 LeSabre,
Yeah.
and the guy wanted $6,500 for it. When the heck was when would you ever pay $6,500 for a '69 LeSabre? I mean, seriously.
If it's like a brand new showroom
Well,
car.
exactly. But this thing wasn't.
Well, that's also 60s. You're
Yeah.
going to get the tax on the Coke bottle era. But I'm talking straight up Malay's era
Well,
shit.
even that kind of stuff's
An
going up.
82 Riviera.
Yeah.
$5,500.
I know. But the Conalade cars, I mean, some of them are kind of climbing now.
People are starting to get, even people that aren't into cars are starting to get the mentality, well, it's an old car, it's got to be worth something.
Well.
It's either one or the other. It's an old car, it's worth something, more than it is. Or it's an old car, it's not worth anything, throw it in a dumpster.
Yeah.
That's the divide right there.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground.
Well, even Disco Novas are just outrageous. Just, you know, it's like, I'd like to, if I wanted to put that in something, I don't want to put it in a Disco Nova. Even though you can take all the late model Trans Am crap and G28 shit and put on it. But even the Disco Novas, it's hard to find one of them that's actually usable under $3,000 or $4,000. And that's the 75 through 79 cars, and that's kind of surprising.
And I'll be honest, you'd have to pay me to take a Disco Nova.
It's not the top of my list, trust me. I mean, and that's nothing wrong with them. They're not a bad car. They're a decent car to get into. But even still, you're still paying this premium for this car that, and they're even worse because I don't really know what parts availability is on these things. It's not like the
They're
second
not all the
gen.
rage, so they don't repop everything.
Yeah, it's not like the second gen, the 68 through 74 cars where you can buy parts for them, you know. But then again, you know, nobody's parting cars out. Now, you see those in the junkyard, but I'm sure as time goes on, they'll stop parting them out because they think it's worth something.
A W30 first olds 442. That's worth money.
Yeah.
Now, if it's completely disintegrated into dust, I don't think it's worth money.
Well, it's worth something to somebody,
Right, but it's
parts-wise. you
But
know.
if
they're
it's-
restoring one, then it's probably kind of an invaluable type thing, you know, because of, you know, just the specialty things that are the red wheel wells, you know, crap
Yeah.
like that.
No, I'm saying specialty cars have their place on this map, but I'm not looking at Hurst Olds, man.
No, you're
I'm looking at a
Cutlass
70
S's,
Cutlass S.
F85s.
And I'm looking, and the car is nothing but rattle can primer, ripped up interior. You look under the hood, and there's just motor parts all over the place.
Yeah.
All kinds of random shit in boxes just
$6,000.
jammed in the trunk.
$6,000.
$6,000, bro.
Yeah.
It's a 71 Cutlass S. It's not even a
Yeah.
Supreme. Like, it's the poor people edition.
Well, even Le Mans. Le Mans are the same way.
Well, Le Mans is pretty much a GTO.
Well, yes.
No, not even close. I don't like Le Mans. There's too many differences. I want a GTO really bad. I don't want a Le Mans. There's a clear difference. Don't put a Le Mans like it's a GTO. It's not
Le
Mans.
Mans. But the prices on them have just climbed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's just within the last year and a half or 2 years they've really started to go up on those cars.
You know what's funny? The Chevelles have been to the roof.
Oh, yeah.
The Le Mans and the Cutlasses are coming up harder than they should be. But the prices on the Skylarks aren't. It's funny.
No.
But they're trying to. I'm watching people try and sell
They're
Skylarks
creeping
more than
up
they're
there.
worth, and then the prices drop because
Yeah.
nobody's buying them.
They're creeping up there a little bit, but not much. Not a whole lot anyways. But they're still starting to come up. I mean, more than I'm willing to pay for some of the examples that are out
How
there.
about that Charger last night Riley had on the screen? That one that was sitting on the rack.
Yeah,
for
the
13
green one,
grand.
13 grand.
There was
yeah.
nothing left to it but a quarters
Yeah.
of a unibody, and if you looked hard enough, you could tell it was a
That's
Charger.
a car that just should be parted.
I said I'll pay him more for the frame it's sitting on.
Yeah.
Not the Charger
the
frame.
rotisserie
It was
thing.
sitting on a jig.
Yeah, jig, that's what it was.
I pay you more for the jig than the car. I don't want to haul away your scrap.
That's another point of why don't you just park the car out? And then there was nothing left of that car. Was beat. There was
nothing left.
That thing was hammered. Even the roof was.
It was remnants.
Yeah, it was just a tub. I mean, what was left of it?
And don't be one of those fools that jump out like that dude. You ever see the Simpsons meme? The dude's about to shoot up who in the Quickie Mart, and the dude's like, no! Don't be one of those dudes that jump out and defend the high prices on shit that's not worth anything, because you kind of look like a goofball.
Well, I mean...
You say that, but you build me one for cheaper.
But you got... These are two opinions that are just... that are in the game. You know, I've been in the game a long time.
I've watched the game for 30 years.
And you've been in the game a long time. But I mean, you know, it's just... Mopars have just always been expensive, and that's just how it is. Even from the mid-'80s, from when I was a teenager till now, Mopars were always overpriced and stupid priced on everything. So those cars were never really attainable in any kind of... I mean, they were and they weren't, you know what I mean?
Now, how about the guys at Evans? The old junkyard we like to go to. These guys are probably like 96 years old. They've had everything.
Yes.
And then some.
Yeah.
He told me, he's like, dude, I had some of my favorite cars. He said he had that 70 Torino.
That's still sitting there.
Yeah, he had a 70 Torino, beat the shit out of it, and always came back for more until it hit a tree. Coming over the mountain.
That's what parked it.
And then he parked it in his yard. And then he had a 69 Cutlass with a 400. I think, no, the 442 with a 400. He's like, I beat the shit out of that thing. It always came back for more. Real fun car. He's like, I've had plenty of Mopars, Chargers, Challengers, Cudas, you name it, 440s, automatic, stick shift. He's like, the legend's true. They do go like hell, but not very long. And the other cars I had, like the Torino and the Cutlass, they went like hell, but they lasted. What I don't understand about the Mopar is the general construction of the body looks like the cheapest. I had to just get this exam over with, send it on down the road. Construction.
Yeah, they're rattle boxes.
You open the hood on a Charger or Tom's Cornet, anything, it's got these fender aprons that look the same as a pickup truck, like Riley's 71 Ford pickup truck. It's got the same boxy fender aprons that looks like it was just good enough to make as a truck. You're selling cars constructed like this. Where does the money come from?
E-bodies are the worst.
Oh.
E-bodies are terrible.
Challengers and Cudas?
Yes. I can't stand slamming a door on Mike's E-bodies.
I know what you're talking
I
about.
mean, it just feels like the whole car's going to just fall apart right there. It's just horrible. It doesn't even have a nice thud. It's just this sickening feeling of it's not even hitting the striker right. And it could be just because the car's just worn out. I mean, you slam the door and all you hear is clanking of the windows. Oh my God. And it's like, man, oh man. Even the Cuda, and the Cuda's, you know, better than the Challenger was. Even the Cuda's the same. I just don't like, you close the door and it doesn't feel right. It's just, I don't know.
I think the reason the Mopar prices went up so high so fast is because they were retardedly cheap, from my understanding, to buy in the mid to late 70s. You could buy them really cheap.
They were, but the thing of it is, too, is that they made a lot less of them. Because, you know, General Motors, I mean, they had, what?
Mass-produced junk, yeah.
Yeah. 4 divisions that were making, you know, intermediate muscle cars, intermediate cars. You know, Ford, they had 2 divisions making intermediate cars. They were just pounding them out quicker, you know, and the Chryslers were just, the production levels were lower, and I think that's why they command such more money. Plus, they just rotted away. You know, they weren't known for their body lasting issues.
Like I just said, they don't even have inner fender wells. You wonder why the top of the fender rots out from the inside out. It's because all that road salt just goes right up to the top of the fender.
Yeah, there's no fender liner. The top here is the top. That's the top of where your shit's getting chucked.
But I feel like it's the generational thing. Now, people are older, they have the money to buy what they want, so the prices are getting driven up. But I think it's the cars they had when they were young, because they were kids and they were broke, they were able to afford them because they were pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And now they want the car they had in their youth, which was the cheapest thing they could buy, which was cool as shit. And now that when you get older, you're looking back like, yeah, that's the best car I ever had.
Well, a lot of them now don't even want the old cars like they were. Resto mods are kind of the thing now.
Resto mods are something with the younger people.
No, a lot of the old guys want them because they just want to get in and turn the key on.
Oh, true.
Piss with them.
Like Mark. Yeah, just put Phytech on it.
Yeah, they don't want to screw with it. But, you know, the whole thing of it is, it's just, you know, it just kind of sucks that a lot of these cars are just not, what you see on Marketplace is just it's just a shame what they're asking to just, you know, from a point of view of just trying to put something together affordably and have something that's, you know, decent when you're done at the end of it. Not, you know, not a rat. I mean, even ratty cars. Like, there's guys putting ratty cars together, and hey, that's fine too. Whatever.
Dude, look what I did with the Cutlass. It's a total Bondo bucket,
Yeah.
but it's presentable and it's fun
Yeah.
to drive.
But I mean, there's guys piecing cars together cheap. You know, and they're finding them and dragging them out. And there's a couple guys on YouTube that do that. And, you know, that's great. But then, you know, everybody has their own ideas of what they're going to put together. But just in general, just to find parts that are reasonable or just parts that you can find for the car itself is just, you know, it's kind of impossible anymore.
I'll give you an idea of how bad it is through how I see it. I'm going to name 2 cars that people are now looking at really hard and bringing the prices up on. That 15 years ago people laughed at and said, "What are you, crazy?" 1, my Cordova. I have a '79 Chrysler
Yeah.
Cordova with T-tops.
Even
When
the Magnums.
when I bought the car 15 years ago, everybody
Yeah,
was like, "What the hell did you buy that thing for? Nobody wants those.
Nobody
Those things
wants
are
those."
junk." But it's a Mopar B-body. No, it's not. Now, I'm looking at this, people are looking at them and they're like, "That's not such a bad idea. I could swing that." And the prices of those are coming
Yeah,
up.
they're coming
Back when
up.
everybody told me, "Oh, what the hell you buy that ugly thing for?"
Yeah, Magnums. I've seen. I sent you that one
Yeah.
Magnum. And what did the guy want? $6,000 for it or something?
And another car, Mustang 2s.
Yeah, Mustang too.
I never thought I'd see the day Mustang 2s became valuable.
Yeah.
And dude, it's the trickle down effect.
Yeah.
I can't afford the cool thing, so I'll just take the bootleg edition.
Well, and that's just how it works. It's like it goes in a progression of what the next collector car is going to be. It's like nobody can afford these things anymore.
What's the next collector car? Look for the car people hated the most that has some DNA in it from the one that they wanted.
You know, so the next level of things, you know, like the Conlade cars aren't really very popular, and I don't really see the Conlade cars bring a lot of money.
What's that?
That's the 73 through 77 cars.
Okay. The last of the A bodies.
Yeah. And I don't really see them bring a lot. It depends on what the car is. If it's a nice example, they usually bring some money, but for the most part,
I could see a Can-Am or something bringing cash.
well, Can-Ams do bring a lot of money. Lagunas will bring pretty decent, depending on the condition.
So bucket seats, an automatic.
Yeah.
$8,000.
The Can-Ams actually do bring quite a good price tag. Lagunas. What else is there? You know, there's really not much performance-wise in that whole area there.
They got those late 70s Cutlasses, people try and make them look like NASCARs
Oh
and shit.
yeah, that's the ones. The 442 went the whole way up through that, and they're kind of. I've seen them for, you know, decent fair money.
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
The biggest problem with those cars though is that the parts availability just really isn't there for them
No.
in the aftermarket. I mean, unless you buy, of course, a parts car. Most of those cars got used up for circle track shit, dirt track cars.
Oh, same thing with the Cordova. There's no aftermarket for the Cordova.
No, there's nothing available.
The drivetrain's all there, but the body, ooh, no.
Well, even Aspens and Valaris are starting to go up in price. Because, again, nobody can afford a Dart or a Duster because they're completely absurd.
Now people are getting a reality check. Yeah, maybe that Aspen's not that bad of a
Yeah,
car.
maybe an Aspen isn't that hateful, you know?
Do you think we'll ever get to the point where people want Chevettes, and then Chevettes go up, and then
I've
people
seen-
wait, hang on, and then when people can't afford Chevettes, they're gonna go on to Citations. Well, it's almost a Chevette.
I've seen Chevettes on there going for $5,000 on Marketplace. Now this is low mileage grandma crap, 4-door automatic.
Yeah, but it's like
It's
a
still
really nice car.
$5,000. Yeah, it's a nice Chevette, but who the hell
It's
wants
a
that?
Chevette.
You know, I mean, unless you got a really weird taste in cars and you want to get started in it, well, hell, why not?
You know what else is really bad? The late 80s and mid 90s Japanese market. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Supras, I'm not even talking the 4th gens, the 3rd gens.
Yeah.
The wedge cars. Oof. The 240 SXs, the S13s,
Yeah.
the 89 through 94 body style.
They're crazy. Yeah, Preludes, Honda Preludes from those years,
Yeah.
83 to 89s.
Dude, a rotted, I watched this happen. When I was in high school, Harry had that 90 240. Bought it for $1,500. It had a long tube header on it, coilovers all the way around, ran and drove, $1,500. Like 3-4 years later, they went up to like $6,000.
Jesus.
And now people are taking rotted out shells that you can see through the frame. $1,200 rolling fucking shell.
And I don't follow that market too closely.
I know people that do, so I see that. I see it in that.
Wow, that's crazy.
And there's nothing repop for any of those cars.
No, unless you just buy one. And I can't imagine anybody's parting them things out.
I'd really like to get a T-top 81 280ZX. I think that's a cool car. Japanese Corvette. Can't afford that either.
No, those 280s are horrible. They're outrageous too. Especially the 260s and 240s. You go back even further yet, man, they're way out of hand.
If you can find one that you can sit in without falling through the floor.
Yeah, they rotted all to pieces.
Oh, are you kidding me? They came to the dealer with rust.
Or does the, did somebody jam a 350 in it and drag race the piss out of it and pound the hell out of it?
That'd be fun, having a 350 and a Datsun.
I think a lot of guys did that.
Or small block 400.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a whole weird situation, and it just seems like in the past couple, I'm gonna say at least since COVID, it's really gotten.
Oh no, coronavirus ramped it through the roof, but this is getting bad for 10 years.
Well, and it has been, and it's probably even longer than that. Around 2006 or so, when they started the Barrett-Jackson crap and they started televising it,
That's
it
another
started
thing.
really pushing the level of that kind of stuff.
Barrett-Jackson's some whole other level.
And the whole thing with Barrett-Jackson is that you got to kind of look at the things, because you're looking at that stuff on TV. You're not standing right next to it, and a lot of those cars aren't what they seem. A lot of that stuff's just really just junk, and guys they're on TV, they're drunked up, their hands are just going ape shit. I've heard a lot of stories about high dollar stuff that went, and it's just, guy took it to a shop and it was garbage.
Yeah, tell them about drunk people on Barrett-Jackson.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a shame because,
Hello.
like I said, you're watching that stuff on television. You're not standing right next to that car looking at it, and they can pretty it up real good until you get it home and you start chipping at it, and then stuff starts falling apart. I mean, there's a place for real high-end cars and stuff like that, but the stuff that we all kind of deal with on our level are just mostly like stuff like my Chevelle or his Oldsmobile or the Buick. It's just, we're just average guys with average cars, and it's just, I just think it's a real shame that it's just, guys can't afford anything. Even young dudes that want to get into it, it's just so hard for them to get into.
I think a big problem with Barrett-Jackson is it's really fucking rich people too.
Oh yeah.
It's really rich people. And rich people, alcohol, ego.
Yeah.
I can buy it. I'll outbid that guy. I don't like that guy. I didn't even want that car, but I'll buy it. Remember I said last year, I think it was, we should buy Kyle's dad's 95 Corolla that's completely rotted out, won't pass inspection anymore. And we should roll it across the stage at Barrett-Jackson just because somebody is going to be laughing there. They're going to be laughing because they're drunk, like, oh, I'll buy it for $1. I'll give you $2.
Yeah. They'll start a bidding war. They'll
start a bidding war over a clapped out Corolla.
That's just rich guys with too much money. I mean, they're not even at our level. But the thing of it is, though, is that, some of those cars that go across there aren't that great, But it's just a shame that nobody parts cars out anymore. I mean, they think that everything can be fixed, and I mean, a lot of guys get mad at me when I say that, And I mean, yeah, they can be fixed if you want to put the time and energy. It's got to be more for the love of it than anything else.
Yeah, it's like Dave. Dave's grandmother owned the car.
Well, that's a sentimental thing. Yeah. I wouldn't have fixed it, but I mean, he did. And that's fine.
If it's something sentimental, yeah, go ahead. But if it's,
Well,
if it's sentimental, you're not going to sell it to begin with.
No, and that's just the thing. But the whole thing of it is, though, is like it's just such a part shortage of nothing out there. I mean, and I realize it's a supply and demand type of thing, but I still see that there's a supply there that are cars that nobody wants to part out. They want to sell the whole car as a restoration project that can be saved. Well, that's fine and dandy, but sometimes these cars just gotta you got to sacrifice. The car's not on the road now. It's not being used. So it's not even on the radar. It's just sitting in the field rotting the hell away. So, I mean, my whole thing is like,
If you start parting them out, the prices can start coming down.
well, exactly. It's
Part it out, save another car. Drive the price down on parts cars. Make parts cars exist again.
to me the car's just irrelevant because it's not on the road. It's not being driven. Yeah, you're saving it, but the car could be saving something else that's in better shape and that could be more deserving of it. And that's just kind of where I'm at. I think that there's just a price point of where it's just beyond, cars are just beyond saving. I mean, I don't know. It's like I said to you, like that Chevelle, it needs everything. There's nothing there.
Remember that one at Carlisle with the fuzzy fucking zebra stripe
Oh my
seats?
God, yeah, remember that thing?
Is 65 the magic price? Because that one was like 65
yeah,
too.
that was a 71.
Yeah, I think $6,500 is the magic price for
And
everything
that car
that's
was
garbage.
beat. That thing was beat. When it
Beat.
was complete,
The trunk was open and the inner skin or the inner frame of the
it
trunk was hanging
separating.
down,
Yeah, remember it was separating.
and the rest of the car looked just like the trunk did.
But it was all there. But that would have been a decent car. There's a lot of parts on there that somebody could have used if the guy just would part it out. But no, it could be fixed. And like I said, I'm not downing cars. There's cars out there that do like this. This deserved to be fixed, but it wasn't rotted beyond repair. It was quarters, outer wheel wells, and there's still cars out there that are like that. And those are the cars that you'd want to save. I mean, even ones that need roof panels and things like that, but I'm more of on, the cars that have nothing in them. If you have a complete car that things are savable in it, yeah, I can see fixing it. But when you're looking at a Camaro that's sitting in a freaking field somewhere and the springs are up through the freaking trunk floor and half the interior's gone and the engine's ripped out of it and there's nothing there or there's nothing to work with.
You say that, but it was a Camaro at some point.
It was. At one point in time it was a Camaro, but now it isn't. But that's just the thing. It's just, who has the money to put that back together? And at what point are you just going to give up? And
Like that guy from Century Motors. You're just gonna find that one guy that needs that bumper, and he'll pay $600.
Yeah, that guy down there in Philly.
Yeah.
He's a perfect example. He's parting cars out, but
Oh.
now he wants so much money. And that's the other thing. Parts are just ridiculous for things.
This was what? That was like a '79 Lincoln, I think it was.
Yeah, that one for Al.
Yeah, it was like a '79 Lincoln.
$600 he wanted for that bumper.
Al's bumper wasn't that bad off, but he wanted one that they had at the junkyard because it was in better condition, and that wasn't a brand new bumper in the junkyard. That guy wanted like $300.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous? I looked at, last night I was looking on Marketplace, a guy had a whole complete front bumper for this. The headlights, the whole nose.
Yeah.
$800 the dude was asking for it. And it was junk. It
Was
was
it?
just beat.
It wasn't okay.
It wasn't even nice. I mean, it was awful used car and it was, granted, he's parting it out. I'll give him that. But now you run into the issue where guys are parting cars out, but now they're asking too much money for the
Yeah, they
prices.
do part them out.
And that's the other flip side to this whole thing of people aren't parting cars out is the flip side to it is that the parts are now outrageous. And it's just ridiculous for some parts. Like a 10-bolt rear you couldn't even give away, and now guys are asking anywhere from $250 to $1,000 for a 10-bolt rear end, which is unheard of. And that's not for a good 8.5. That's for a 8.2 rear, the weaker one. Or Pontiac rears are outrageous. Like an 8.2 rear for this thing, guys are getting $500 to $1,500 for Firebird rears, which is crazy. That was stuff that guys just threw them away, gave them away. Now they're just worth all this money.
Yeah, but don't forget, people threw away Cordovas, and now people want them.
I mean, now they want it. But that's the other flip side to this whole thing too, is getting parts for cars.
That guy had a 455 and a '69 Olds '98 in that junkyard. I saw it right down the windshield, and I was like, oh, I wonder how much he wants for that core. Guarantee it was like $1,000. Had to be.
Well, it's like Pontiac engines. Pontiac engines are outrageous.
Pontiac engines are the worst.
Yeah, and
The worst to buy, and Buicks are the most expensive to build.
It's just to get into a Pontiac 400, if I want to do it, to get a decent core if something happens to this, 350 is just unbelievable. I can't. To me, it's not worth the aggravation, and it's cost a lot more money to build it because it's a Pontiac. So, you know, you find a decent core that and then nobody ever has any idea. Well, I got it and I never done nothing with it, and he's got the torque yanked up on it. No, I don't even know if it turns. And then they want $1,500 for it.
That there block's been sitting here since my brother Skeeter died in 1907.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, and you can't afford that kind of shit.
That's good.
I mean, it's just ridiculous because, you know, it's like, I'd like to put a Pontiac back in that, but
What did Evans charge us for this disc brake spindles with all the shit that went with it? It was like 50 bucks.
That whole pile of mess that we had laying in the back of Tom's pickup truck was $40.
40 bucks.
Yeah.
That's a yard that knows how to sell stuff. And that car belonged in the junkyard.
Yeah.
I'll bet you somebody would try to sell that. Okay, let me explain. It was a 71 Pontiac Le Mans convertible. And all it was just the tub left. No nose clip. No top. It had a rear end in it. Some corporate open rear end.
It was yeah, I think it might have been, it may have been an 8.5 or a Pontiac rear.
And it was sitting on top of a Suburban or a Tahoe, but the door post from the Tahoe went through the frame. Remember that?
Yeah, because
We thought it was going to slide through and fall off the
It
Suburban.
was hung up on it.
I guarantee you, somebody, if it didn't go to that junkyard, somebody would have put it on Craigslist or Marketplace and asked, what do you want to say, at least $2,500?
Yeah,
There was nothing left?
yeah. Oh, that car was horrible.
The car was horrible. Now, luckily it did end up in the junkyard we like to go to, and it had disc brakes on the front. So we got the whole swap, 40 bucks.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And that was the spindles. We didn't like. I don't think we took them as the power booster wasn't there, was it?
No, I think it was
No,
just the spindles.
We took the spindles, calipers, and rotors.
Yep.
It was the meat and potatoes of the whole deal. And then we took the proportioning valve too.
I mean, the rotors were junk, but they were in there.
Yeah, I mean, but it was a complete setup.
Yep.
I mean, it was all core stuff. But for $40, I mean, you can't beat that.
We bring the stuff up to the guys. What do you want for this?
Yeah, we
40
took
bucks.
We took the door hinges because I took the door hinges for this
Yeah, I remember.
because they were like tight because they were
Mhm.
like new because I don't think that car had many miles on it.
No, someone probably blew it up and put it in a field.
And I got the disc brake setup, the door hinges. What the hell else do we take off of
The
this?
wiper transmission.
Yes, that's right, because that's in the car here now. I took the wiper transmission, and he charged me $40 for all of that.
For everything?
Everything.
Oh, so we got the disc brake setup, the spindles, the calipers, the wiper transmission, the door hinge.
Yeah.
40 bucks.
$40.
And guess what? Next time we went back, the car was gone. Because
Yeah.
there was nothing else left on
Yeah,
it.
there was nothing else left. That was it. It was just amazing that the disc brakes were even in there. I was, because remember we walked past it, and I was like, no way. Remember, you're like, what? I said, freaking disc brakes. Like, wow. Because we were there that day and we didn't have time to pull them. We went up the next morning and got them. Because it was on a Saturday we were there the first time we got the steering wheel.
Yeah. And we went
for
back.
Riley, and then we went back and we stripped everything else off of it we could find.
I think we got the steering wheel for 30 bucks.
Yeah.
The wheel's in good shape.
Yeah.
It's in his car now.
Yeah.
The horn buttons even work.
But that's the kind of that's stuff you just don't even see anymore in junkyards, you know. And guys that do have junkyards with those kinds of cars in them, they want outrageous, like that guy down there in Philadelphia.
Oh my God, the guy in Philly. Here's a good story. There was a Nova in there that had rally mirrors on the doors, and Riley wanted to get rally mirrors for his Skylark. So he asked him how much you want for those rally mirrors that were all busted up. Like the paint was all chipped off, the glass was not in pristine shape. The guy was like, "I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. 150 bucks." I'm like, "What?" Riley's like, "I can buy them new for 150 bucks." He's like, "Yeah, but those are originals." I'm like, "This guy's fucking crazy."
And that's, you know, and that's the shame of it. I mean, and it's nice to get original parts because sometimes they just fit better.
But this was Riley grade of a mirror.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Riley's like, "Yeah, I'll put it on for like
Yeah.
50 bucks."
But that's the other flip side of it. Guys don't part cars out. So now parts that are out there is floating around that you need. Yeah, the prices have just gone up on them.
It was so funny. I watched my dad junk so many cars back in the day
Oh yeah.
that were like, I was like, if we would have just sold those cars now, we'd be sitting in some cash.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. You know, you just don't know. I mean, everything. I mean, I can remember when 396s. I don't know. this is probably going back pretty far. Probably at least 10 or 11 years. The guy had a 402 big block on Craigslist for $250. And I was gonna go get it, and I figured I had a place to stuff it. But it was Christmas time. It was like right around this time. I just didn't have time to get up there because of going Christmas stuff and everything. Now you can't even touch one of these things. I mean, a big block anywhere from 396 to 454. You can't even touch one of these things for under $500. And if it is under $500, you're getting the block. You're not getting anything else.
Oh, here's a bad joke. Apparently, it's got to be Zach's dad's age bracket. Your age bracket.
Yeah.
Everyone is 71.
That's 70.
No, but yeah, I'm saying Zach's dad's 71, and he had an '86 IROC back in the day when it was brand new. These people think third-gen Camaros are worth money now. They weren't worth money when they were new.
Well, 5.0 Mustangs I'll tell you what, 5.0 Mustangs.
You're talking a Fox body, that price is up, and you're talking a 5-liter Mustang. I'm talking any third-gen Camaro.
Yeah.
If it's a Camaro, if it says Camaro on the side, it could be a 4-cylinder Iron Duke car. It's got way more value than it does. I wish I could pull up Marketplace right now. My Facebook is defaulted to 82 Camaro. Every day on Facebook, I see new ones on there. I just found one today listed for $300.
Oh yeah.
I sent it to Riley. I was like, now that would make a good yard sale.
Is it?
It's pretty clapped.
Is
It's
it?
just a roller, but it has centerline wheels on it. I'm like, maybe the wheels are probably worth that.
Yeah, wheels are probably worth $300.
But no, the third-gen Camaros, the prices are insane.
G-bodies. Oh my God, G-bodies are horrible. G-bodies are up there pretty good too. Monte Carlo SS's are them, Grand Nationals, Verstolzes.
Oh no, Grand National's the most because they made the Grand GNX and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Grand National's always been worth a lot of money. So is the Monte Carlo SS. And you see those on there, they're all clapped out. They're beat to hell, $5,000.
Box Caprices, going for shitloads of money. Like, bro, that used to be a cab.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I don't know, the whole situation with the hobby's just kind of really weird right now.
I wonder what's going to happen to the, like, OBD1 market and back period, or even OBD2 like the Mustang. Like, they're talking they want to put all these kill switches in cars and shit.
Yeah, but they're not going to put kill switches in old cars.
No, but I'm wondering what the market's going to be, where people just want to get an older car now.
Oh.
People are going to be looking at that 2003 Ford Explorer like they've never looked at it before.
Yeah, well, if they want the independence, they'll do that. Like, Terry Erford, did you see that Granville he got?
Yeah.
That's a nice looking car.
Yeah, he made it look nicer too.
Yeah, I did. He cleaned it all up and everything. I saw the pictures on Facebook. That's a nice looking ride. I don't know what he gave for it, but that's not a bad car. But, he's in a different area than we are, so,
He's in Arkansas.
Yeah, so I don't know how things are. Arkansas. I don't know how things are there. But here, everything's just ridiculously expensive.
And he buys everything he can on a budget. If it's like more than $1,000, he doesn't buy it.
Yeah, I know. And but he's like along the lines of us, He don't have deep pockets to put crap together,
Well, third-gen Camaros, the one I just sold, the '84, I bought that car for $2,700. Yeah, it was a rat's nest of wires. The body was fairly straight.
Ran good.
And then Haggerty's telling me, I told them, I was honest with them, what condition the car was in. And they told me the car was, they gave me $12,000 insurance on that car.
And they insured for 12 or 15 or something.
It was 12. I was shooting high. They're like, what do you think it's worth? And I'm like, I don't know. I'd be happy with like 10. They're like, well, how's 12 sound? I'm like, no, it's not a perfect car. They're like, yeah, we get that, but it says here in our book that it's like anywhere from 10 to 12. I'm like, all right, you do you.
Jesus.
I ended up selling that car for $4,500, and I think that's about what it was worth.
Yeah. Well, the prices of cars, it's a double-edged sword with that, like I was telling you.
That's going back in the day, Chris. Back in '08, Jeff bought that '84 Camaro from Evans for $300 with a blown V6. The rest of the car was fine. And we ended up putting that Chevy 307 in it with the 6-cylinder transmission, only 2 screws. But the car was solid. It wasn't rotted out. It wasn't smashed in, banged up. It was a solid car. $300.
Yeah, but nobody wanted it.
No.
But that's the whole supply and demand type thing.
Cash for clunkers really messed up the 80s cars.
You know, because second gens are now getting to the point where nobody can afford a decent second gen. So now the next one in line is the third gens. You know, there are some cars out there that are relatively affordable. Like the big Mustangs like Riley had. You can find them fairly reasonable.
Torinos aren't bringing money.
Yeah, Torino, and that's a shame.
I don't know why. Everything's bringing money, but Torinos aren't.
I don't know why.
At least not around here.
I don't know why the Fords don't bring a lot of money, because they made some pretty wicked cars.
I'm a Ford guy. I like Torinos.
But even their muscle cars don't bring. Well, what were we looking at last night? That GT 4-speed 351 Cleveland had the shaker on it, 45 grand. It looked like a pretty nice looking car. Had the gauge package in it. And that's not a bad price, because you're not going to buy an SS Chevelle for that.
No.
You know, that's anywhere halfway decent. You know, I don't know. I just think it's just a real. I think it's just a real piss poor deal all around for people that want to do stuff for these things, or have something to work on, or get a project, and you know, because you know, your price for admission is just way over the top compared to what you're willing, you know, depending on what you're willing to spend.
Well, and here's another thing, for example. The Firebird back here was affordable because it's not a Camaro. But what doesn't make any sense is because the Camaro was cheaper than the Firebird when they were new.
Yeah. And they sold like way more, 200,000, another 100,000 more than.
They made more Camaros. They were cheaper than the Firebird, but now since the name Camaro, now they're worth a boatload of money, and the Firebirds are affordable comparatively.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're all affordable, but compared to the Camaro.
Well, they're worth half a Camaro, and that's pretty much based.
It's like Camaro is like net income or gross income, and this is like net income.
Well, I mean, if this was a Camaro, this would probably be a $45,000 to $50,000 car, and I'm not being shitty, but that's just the way it is. I mean, and it doesn't even need to be an SS or a Rally Sport or anything. It just needs to be a '69 Camaro.
But here's my question: what's worth more, a real '69 Trans Am, or a Z28?
The '69 Trans Am's worth more any day. They made more Z28s, and there's more Z28s than they ever made because everybody cloned them. So it's another car that just gets cloned all to hell. But they, you know, there's only certain examples of Trans Am, you know. But that's just a high-end car that nobody can really even touch, you know what I mean? That's out of our price range. You know, that's $100,000, you know. It's just, again, it's just crazy. I did find one of these. There was two. There's actually one that's on Marketplace now, and there was another one. The other one was up in New York, and the guy wanted $2,000 for it. And I looked at it, and it actually didn't look bad. I mean, it wasn't a bad car. Now, it didn't run. It was sitting in field, of course, but it was a lot of good parts.
Did it have floors?
I don't know if it did. The guy didn't take detail in the pictures, but I was just looking at it as like a parts type of thing of what could be used off of it. I wasn't looking at it as a put together kind of car. It could have been. You had to go look at it, but I was looking at it from that point of view. And that car sold pretty quick. And then there's another one that's on there. The guy wants $25 for it. I think it's a convertible, and the guy says it's a full 169 Firebird convertible, and he says he has the original engine and everything. He wants $2,500 for it. I'm like, now he doesn't have a whole lot of pictures of that car either. You know, so I mean, there's two affordable cars there that could possibly be put back together, depending on what kind of body work and sheet metal work you're willing.
You have to go look at it and dictate whether it's a parts car or something you can fix.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Now, those are the two cheapest Firebirds, second or first gen Firebirds that I've seen on there that actually.
In this area.
Yeah, one was in New York. I think they're both in New York. And, but you know, within the 250-mile radius that I search on. So, but I mean, those are the only two Firebirds that I've seen that have been under, you know, $3,000 that are actually maybe usable for something. You know, all the other ones I look at are $5,000 up, and none of them run, or they're various stages of junk. And then the next step is $10,000 or $15,000, and the car runs and drives, but it looks like ass, and it needs work, and yeah, I don't know.
It's been parked since the Civil War.
Yeah, and then you get into Camaros, and then you know, that $2,000 Firebird you're looking at turns into a '69 Camaro, and then all of a sudden it turns into a $15,000 car.
Well, speaking of price hikes in Camaros, what do you think just happened since they produced the last one on the 15th?
Oh, it's going to go crazier yet.
And then when did Challenger just end, like 2 days
Yeah,
ago?
and they're probably going to go up in price too. For some reason, that kind of shit just dictates what goes on in our hobby, unfortunately, which is kind of a shit deal. So now everybody's going to be clamoring for a Camaro because, you know, the prices are going to start creeping up because they don't make them anymore, you know. So.
Oh, don't worry, they'll make them again as like an SUV electric.
I'm sure.
That new Mustang.
Freaking Mustang Mach-E.
Mustang SUV?
Jesus. That pissed so many people off when they did that. What a freaking sacrilege. Why would they even do something like that?
I don't know. Why would Mitsubishi turn the Eclipse into an SUV?
I don't know. It's because that's what everybody wants.
No, they don't. Everybody I talk to, not car people, but like the general public, it's all over Facebook. Nobody wants this shit.
You want rear-wheel drive V8.
That's like you said. That's why everybody buys pickup trucks, you know, because they don't make the car version. They want a big car with an 8-cylinder and rear-wheel drive. Since that's not produced, people just buy trucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't foresee the V8 engine being produced in anything much anymore except for pickup truck. Maybe the Mustang, and that might be the last holdout, but the rest of them are pretty much all done for.
Unless they're trying to pinch the market off so they can.
I mean, that's the only other one. You only got 2 cars that are produced in the United States that are American cars that are V8 powered now. The Mustang and the Corvette. That's it. Now that Mopar's done and Chevy's done, there's nothing else that's V8 rear-wheel drive. Except for pickup trucks. No passenger cars, no cop cars, no nothing.
Unless GM and Chrysler are playing like some 4th dimension chess, where they're shutting the bar down because they know all the alcoholics will be there when they open at 7 in the morning. Like, come on, man, just let me get something. And then they open the market back up.
Well, General Motors pretty much just handed the whole market to Ford in that genre because people still buy those cars. I mean, I don't know how many Chargers or Challengers they sold. You know, I don't know what their sales or production is from year to year to year for those RTs and those cars like that. It'd be interesting to see how many they actually sell a year between the Challenger RTs and the SRTs and the Hellcats and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see how many of those cars they sell for each year, just for shits and grins, because, you know, just to give you an idea of how many people are actually buying those things. Now, you know, the prices on those cars are just completely absurd now since they said they're going to stop selling because the dealers are charging
80 grand.
They're charging
for a Hellcat.
Yeah, they're charging premium, you know, inflated money because people are, well, they'll just pay it, you know.
No, they won't. They'll sign here on the line, and then when they run out of money, they'll stop making the payments, and the shit gets repoed.
But yeah, they do that too. But I mean, the dealers are just gouging everybody. So you know, you got that problem, you know, but it would be interesting to see. I don't think the Camaro was doing that well sales wise. I really don't. I don't think the sales on this Camaros were very high. I think more people were buying the Chryslers than they were the
Oh yeah, the Mopars are selling like hotcakes.
and the Fords. The Mustang is always a decent seller. So, but I mean, they pretty much just handed the market right to Ford again.
I think Camaro sales dropped off when they did that facelift in 2019, and they made them really ugly in the front.
They could have. When they first come out, they were everywhere. I mean, and there's still kind of quite a few around, but
I'm talking strictly 6th gen, like 2016 and up.
But I don't. It'd be interesting to see what the sales numbers on all 3 of those cars are, just to get an idea. I know the Mustang is probably 2nd place to the Chryslers. I would almost bet, and then you probably have the General Motor, you know, the Camaro, because you know, I don't think a lot of people were buying them. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but they just handed the whole market to Ford. And if they keep producing the Mustang as a rear-wheel drive V8 car, they'll keep selling them, you know. Kind of like what they did in the 80s, you know. GM overpriced the Firebird and the Camaro, you know, the IROCs and the Trans Ams. Hell, you could go down to the Ford dealer, spend 12 grand on an LX 5.0 liter,
And smoke the Camaro.
and go out and blow a freaking IROC or, you know, a TA off the freaking road. I mean, there was nothing. The only thing that was really comparable to it was a Grand National, and you didn't even hardly see those cars. So
No, you had T-Type T.
yeah, I mean, that was the only car that was probably really even compatible with. Even the Vet wasn't even that fast, you know. So, but again, General Motors screwed up, overpriced everything, and had a product that wasn't that great.
GM's been in the toilet since the early 70s.
Oh yeah. Ford made billions in the freaking Fox bodies, and they pretty much walked all over Chevrolet and General Motors with those cars from 85 the whole way up to 92, 93. They come out with the fourth gens with the 6-speed and the LT1. And,
Spaceship.
you know.
I'm not a 4-gen fan.
And they were quicker than the Mustangs, but
Finally, for once.
the only reason they were is because of the 6-speed. That's the only difference. They had another gear they could deal with.
I don't know, man. Zach's wagon with the LT1 is probably faster than my Mustang.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the thing was no slouch, especially the way he drove it.
Those LTs run pretty good. That was a good engine. It was a decent running engine. But that's how long it took Chevrolet to catch up to what Ford was already doing. I mean, Ford pretty much had the market. You could afford to go buy an LX Mustang. Even a GT wasn't that much more than what an LX was. Maybe another $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 over what a GT was. So, you could probably get into a GT for 16 grand, or you could spend 12 and get an LX with nothing, and just walk all over everybody. But
GM has lost its ways.
they all lost their way.
And now if I was going to buy a new car, I'd be buying a Toyota.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, we're really going off the freaking rails on this whole thing.
We can pick and choose what goes in the episode or not. It's going to take a lot of editing though.
Sorry.
What are we at?
I don't even know. We've probably been bullshitting here for over an hour.
Yeah, an hour and 9 minutes.
Hour and 9 minutes.
Yeah, we can close it out.
Yeah, maybe we'll just close it out. Well, that's probably going to be it for our little bullshit discussion of us just rambling back and forth.
Yeah, I think we'll start the episode out as, when did parts cars go extinct?
Yeah.
And then it'd just go into rambling. And when you click off, you click off. Or you can listen for the whole hour. That's up to you.
This is all our opinion and just things that I've observed and Marty's observed, and and like I said, this could only be in our area or our East Coast thing, or or it could be different in other places.
I'm just tired of seeing really old people going, haha, kids and their Hondas and Volkswagens, why don't they get a real car?
Yeah, look at them in disgust and but don't understand why they're doing it
Because of you.
They can't afford it.
They can't afford it.
The whole thing of I'm going to retire and I want to retire off my cars, that's not the way to do it.
You ever see how a tree grows? It'll grow around things if it has to. And if the kids can't afford the cool car, they'll grow around it and go find something else.
That's what I said to Dave about that one Charger. I said, yeah, that guy probably wants to retire. That's why he's asking $88 grand for it. I mean, how can you realistically think that car's worth that much money is beyond me. I don't know where the idea of this, I don't know. And how can you even say that with a straight face? Like walk up to somebody and you ask them, well, what are you asking? Oh, I want $88 grand. How can you actually sit there and be serious? And you're like sitting there standing looking at them. It's a 318 Charger,
Been
dude.
programmed that that's what they go for.
Yeah, it's like, it's nothing. It's not an RT. It's not a 440. It's not even a 383.
It's not even a big block car.
It's a 318 that you put a freaking crate
60.
engine, a 360 Commando crate engine that came out in 1994. So that car's been together since like the mid 90s, because that's when that engine came out. And I don't think they made it for that long, because then they upgraded it to a different one. And it's like, dude. And then you look at the issues with the body, and as soon as you start grinding on that thing, it probably got glommed into sometime in its life, and there's 8 gallons of freaking Bondo in it. So after you spend your $87,000 or whatever you spend on that car, you're going to have to spend another 15 grand on getting a nice paint job put on it. And you still got a Charger that's just a 318. I don't know.
It's a Dodge Charger, man. It's a Dodge Charger.
I mean, people do things for different reasons. I mean, if you got a disposable income and don't care, well, more power to you. For me, and I don't look to retire off these cars, because like I told you, the fact that they're worth more money and you can insure them for more, well, that's kind of nice. But it's a double-edged sword, because now you can't buy one, So in one way, it's nice to know that the car's worth that, but in another way, it kind of makes you feel bad, because now nobody can get into the hobby because it's so overpriced. So,
I think the bubble's going to pop.
It will eventually. It's gonna go somewhere. And
When it does pop, we got to run around and catch what comes out of it, because if we don't, the scrapyards will.
I don't know. It's weird because the market hasn't really. I mean, it's been up and down, but it's been up and down for nice cars.
What's the price of cars in the 40s and 50s right now?
You know what? That's something that's actually pretty interesting because a guy had a '57 Chevy in Jonestown at a car lot over on the other side of Harrisburg.
What, the Kool-Aid guy?
I don't know who it was.
Jonestown.
Yeah. Funny.
Continue.
You drive around the dead bodies like that. But anyways, this guy had this '57 Chevy. It was a freaking Bel Air, 2-door hardtop. So it's the one you want. He had it at 36 and he slashed the price down to 25 grand. And it's not a bad looking car. Now, I mean, obviously you got to go inspect it and look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, from the pictures you're looking at, yeah, it looks good. But it's 25 grand. And it's like, well, that's kind of interesting because that's cheaper than some of those damn Chevelles that are on there. And that's a '57 Chevy.
Shit, maybe if kids want to get into these cars, you just tell them to go look for 50s cars.
Well, the thing of it is, too, is that sometimes those '50s cars, it's kind of in the same ballpark as what you're looking at with the muscle cars. Because I was looking at a '55 a guy had on there, and it needed work, and he had it at 10 grand. Well, then you clicked on it. Well, the floors are junk, the braces are junk, the trunk, you know, it needs a lot of metal work. You know, there's parts missing, there's no engine in it, in your back, you know, okay, I might as well be looking at a '69 Camaro, you know, because it's kind of the whole thing. But you can get everything for them, but I mean, again, you're back at that point where you're piecing a whole car back together. But it seems to be that there's some deals on them and some not. Like, some guy had one that was on there, was like a gasser with a straight axle. He was asking 50 grand for it. I was like, I don't know. That's a whole car that's kind of created by somebody else. So, what are you running?
Custom job?
Yeah. Had a Speedway front end on it.
Uh-oh.
Speedway motors.
I think we're over.
Oh, did we get shut down?
Battery died.
Battery died. We run it out.
Yeah.
No shit.
We might have something on here. Anyway, that's going to end this episode.